welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage, and from Patreon subscriber Alexander, this is Soul Cauldron Shops. Alexander originally came to me with an idea of using Agatha Soul Cauldron in kind of a vintage hardened scales shell, throwing +1/+1 counters around, Arcbound Ravager, sacking your board, then Soul Cauldron eats Ravager, then anything's a Ravager, and then really just going nuts that way. In the time between when I was originally reached out to and when I'm recording, Alexander did a bunch of work on this deck and came to the conclusion that A, there's no room for actual hardened scales. B, Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp is better than Ravager if we don't have hardened scales. And Agatha Soul Cauldron is what we're really trying to do here. Alexander put up a 5-0 with this deck, or a version of this deck. And the thing that I really wanted to try that had not been in his build is Steel Overseer. Tap, put a +1 counter on each artifact creature you control. Basically, the nuts, if we're trying to throw +1 counters around. Also, extremely good to feed to Agatha Soul Cauldron, because you just need one creature to activate once with Steel Overseer's ability, then all your creatures can immediately tap to continue doing it. You get like a giant cascade where your board grows by +X every turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. That helps with the beatdown strat. Patchwork Automaton, kind of the core idea was Patchwork Automaton and Stonecoil Serpent come in with counters on them anyway, or generate their own counters. How can we abuse that with Agatha Soul Cauldron? Zabaz letting those creatures fly is pretty messed up. Walking Ballista, just turning those creatures into fireballs, is pretty messed up. And Steel Overseer is my innovation to this deck that, honestly, Alexander already did a great job putting together. Outside of our kind of the cute part of the deck, the thing that we're trying, this is basically just Sphere Shops. We play a bunch of mana that we're not supposed to have because Mishra's Workshop is a broken card. You just get Black Lotus every turn, no big deal. Plus, the deck plays all the actual power. You lock your opponents out with Sphere of Resistance, Lodestone Golem, Trinisphere, that sort of thing, and you quickly beat them to death before they have enough mana to play. Deck also has Strip Mine and Wasteland for the full mana denial effect while they're under a sphere, while they're taking 3 a turn from Patchwork Automaton. Ideally, they just won't play any spells. That is the Mono Brown Sphere Shop's philosophy, and Agatha Soul Cauldron is our twist on it today. Let's do it. I'm on the play in round 1. My hand is not exactly blazing, but Scrawly Crawly is damage output and it's extra cards. I will keep this. On the draw, I would chip this. It's definitely too slow. On the play, it might be too slow also, but I'm into it. My opponent has not revealed a Lurrus. 6 cards over there. Scrawly Crawly. What flavor of not Lurrus deck are you? Right, Crawler's in. This is a sweet card from MTG Foundations. Legal and standard for many years to come. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose a life, and at the beginning of my upkeep, each player draws a card. All right, this smells like Doomsday to me from this current position, but it could be any sort of Esper or multicolored Tez deck. Another Scrawly Crawly. Creating a combo deck extra beats is not or extra cards is not exactly great, but doubling up on the damage output of Crawler is pretty sweet. I'm gonna play Strip Mine and Crawler. Okay, had to force that one, pitching Flusterstorm. And I think having Strip Mine up is better than adding Zabaz. If getting comboed out is what I'm worried about, let's stop that from happening. At least as well as I can. Tropical Island. Okay, probably not Doomsday. What's going on over there? Is this Oath? Or are you about to get shown and told? Oko, sure. Yeah, that one's pretty good too. I've heard of that one. Making a food, not trying to turn off the Crawler. Oath is a very bad matchup. I'll just put that out into the world. See what I can do here. I don't need to Strip Mine yet. I can just Strip Mine on my turn and it's the same thing. Okay, I am gonna go big ham bananas here. Batches of Houlihan. Start with that one. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ward trigger. This deck doesn't... Oh my god. I was about to say this deck doesn't play Daze, but what do I know, apparently? Well, that's embarrassing. Mostly fine. I mean, the land is still out of play. A Vault, Sabaz, Sphere, in that order. I guess with the Vault, I could have played Sphere first, but it doesn't matter. Now Daze is spent. If they had Force, they could have broken this up anywhere on the chain. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Negation. I am going face. It is my job to kill my opponent here. Their hand is Tropical Island and 3 unknowns. Got by Daze. That's fascinating. So maybe this isn't Oath. Okay, they finally revealed. The Daze means it's not Oath, and Deathrite Gem confirms it. This is just bug. Deal. All right, so some stuff happens here. We draw an extra card. I'd really like a spell. Oh my god, deck. Please. My family is starving. If Zabaz dies, something else gets bigger. If I attack with everything here, they can trade off with Crawley and eat Zabaz. Zabaz costs white to activate, which doesn't help me right now. I'm going to attack with Patches and Zabaz. If I can make Crawley bigger, I'm good with that. I am attacking my opponent. I'm not in the bother with Oko business. Okay, so a chump block and killing Zabaz, deal. Modular onto Crawler. Strip you. Play Ancient Tomb and pass. They're going to go to 5 here. Oko at some point will probably have to elk this Crawler. And when they do, it'll be 4/4. Okay, sweet. Just bashed their head with bigger creatures than they have. I think I like Argentum Masticore here. Disruptor Flute can name things like Wasteland and Oko, but I'm going to try to just beat those. Vexing Bauble, I don't really want that on the draw. Chalice of the Void on 1 is pretty good in this matchup. Normally Chalice is in vintage decks to be put on 0, but 1 still plays. Bug is a Collector Roof deck, which makes my Moxen worse, but it's not like I can really play without them. And Argentum Masticore is my removal for Collector Roof. Agatha Soul Cauldron's funny because it hard counters Deathrite Shaman. Anything they try to exile, I exile. But it goes the other way too. That's fun. A fun sub-game. Maybe I do cut Mana Vault versus the known Collector Roof deck. Thorn of Amethyst. A lot of their good cards are just creatures, so that one can go. I'll keep the other spheres. Alright, I like this hand. Keep. I have turn 1 Patches, Trigger, Stonecoil for 3. Stonecoil beats Deathrite Shaman, Oko, and Psychic Frog. Alright, Collector Roof makes the game a little bit harder. But now I can settle into kind of douchebag mode. They turned off their own Mox. Let's take their other land. Underground Sea, follow up. Deathrite Shaman, that one's pretty good. Lots of lands for that to eat. Workshop, Patches. If they have a Force of Will, it's probably worth doing here. They didn't have it. Patches is going to get up to 3/3, which blunts their entire offense. 2 Underground Seas plus Deathrite Shaman, plenty of mana here. Abrupt Decay, yeah. You don't have to pay the ward on that one. A useful tool for exactly this situation. Ooh. I keep them masticated. Protection from Multicolored. That is a word that's also on Stonecoil Serpent. I've seen Daze, but they didn't daze me last turn when they could have. I don't think I'm playing around Daze. I can't discard cards to this Argentum Masticore. That would make me happy. Like, I'm just discarding Ancient Tombs to keep it alive. It's not actually blowing up the Collector Roof. I'm just going to go for a 5/5 Stonecoil. Other than First Strike, it's the same thing on this board. And I don't have to discard to keep it every turn. And they've passed without a play. Not making a land drop means that they probably... Or their hand is all spells. There's no probably about it. Their hand is all spells. Right, I'm going to add a second beater. I'm doing this pre-combat, so I know if it resolves, and then I can decide if I'm going to attack. And I am. We're all in here. 10 power in play. Swinging for the fences. Wow, Force of Vigor, get wrecked me. Yep, that one's pretty good. And they drained me for 2. That only has 1 color, confirmed. Walking Ballista. This can be sizable, but does not have abilities. I can cast it for 4 and go to 4 for the pleasure, and then they can Abrupt Decay, or exile Abrupt Decay with Shaman me down to 2. I think I have to stop at 3, just so Deathrite doesn't get a completely free lunch here. Just any spell they cast ever kills me if I go all the way in on 4. And 3 is big enough to stop their aggression. Good sign. All right, they win. Okay, now I get a game on the play where everything's easier. Yeah, none of the cards in my sideboard would have helped with that situation. You can name Deathrite Shaman with Disruptor Flute. It is not a mana ability, despite it making mana. I guess I could turn a Soul Cauldron into a flute. Turning off Oko or Deathrite could be the difference in a race. I like Trinisphere on the play even more than I like it on the draw. I like all the spheres. Alright, I know this is kind of what we're doing here with the Soul Cauldron. I'll leave one in, but I still think it's just right to have more flutes in. Ooh, interesting. This hand is pretty soft to Wasteland. I'm going to keep it. Turn 1 Patches plus Trigger. I like that. And then turn 2 Patches, Trigger, any mana, put Sphere into play. I could also just turn 1 Sphere, which makes Moxen worse and Force of Will worse in the future. I'm going to prioritize aggression here. A lot of what we're doing is about being on board. Okay, passing the turn. I would love to draw a mana, just something that makes a singular +1 mana. They have the Wasteland, but they're wasting from behind. Deck's full of mana. Can we get some? Magic's easy. Backup Patches or Sphere. I like backup Patches. If they want to Wasteland me when I'm already attacking for damage, I'm going to add more damage to the board. Strip Mine? Okay. The sweet Edge of Eternity's crazy looking one. Alright, I'd still like to draw mana, but it's less important than it was last turn. Now I'm on board with multiple things. Right, no more development, just attacks. Any point I draw mana, I get to go crazy. Ooh, opponent's out of lands too. They kept a double Wasteland opener. Oh man. I roll. I'm going to play Sphere. I'm not going to feed them extra cards with Scrawly Crawly. Okay, so they kept Force, Spell Pierce, double Wasteland. I've been in this position my opponent's been in so many times where it's like, you do stuff to fight over Shop's development, and it feels like you've stopped them, but then you run out of development and they immediately top deck a Shops. So they're dead on board. I can't imagine what they could have to save them. Force of Vigor does not kill ward creatures. Hell yeah. Cool. All right. Just slugging it out. Not a lot of nuance there. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2 against a Lurrus strategy, and I am going to mulligan this. It doesn't really do anything, and it doesn't do it quickly. I'm gonna send it away. Okay, this one does some stuff. This is pretty weak to disruption. I have 4 mana on turn 1. I could go Patches Sphere. I think I'm going to keep in bottom Scrawling Crawler. I would like more mana than I have, of course. But you can't get it all. Verdant Catacombs out of a Lurrus strat is really interesting. Ooh, Vexing Bauble. That card's pretty good. Ruby. Vault. Oh, Bauble sucks with Sphere. Never mind. Bauble turns off Sphere because Bauble reads if a player casts a spell for no mana, counter that spell, and Sphere makes even 0 drops cost 1. We call that a non-bow. Forest Pitching Flusterstorm. Okay, let's hope this Sphere of Resistance cooks their life now that they spent Force on a creature instead of this. Fetch and Response. Undercity Sewer. Kept a card on top. And Force Negation Pitching Psychic Frog. Alright, opponent is in. They did keep their card on top though, and if they do something like go land Frog, Wasteland's not great for me either. Shop off the top. Alright, no love. I will play this Vexing Bauble. At worst, I can draw a card off it next turn and try to dig out of this. At best, it slows down some of their stuff. 1 card left in hand. Is it another Psychic Frog? Time Walk. Alright, that's fine. The emergency. Dig a little deeper. They're going to buy Lurrus here. Alright. deck, now would be a great time for a Mishra's Workshop. Sphere of Resistance sucks. Draw a card. Ancient Tomb. Sphere. Let's try to slow down that Luris. Okay, they passed back. I'm still bleeding out to this Crypt. The Overseer. All right, let's go. Try to get something going here before my life total runs out. Collector Oof. Yikes. Okay, I can't win this game anymore. Another bug. This one is Bug Luris. Interesting that this is back because, frankly, I think Bug sucks. I've always thought Bug sucks in Vintage. Even the Year 1 Vintage Champs, I think it sucks. And to play against it twice in the same league is curious. I wonder why it would be making a resurgence. Or if it's just, the time of day I queue into Magic Online. Vault, Bauble. They did Force of Will me twice to stabilize there, but Bauble being turned off by my own spheres, which I'm trying to do when I'm on the play. No thanks. And this deck can't have Oko because they have Luris. But Disruptor Flute on Deathrite Gem and still good. I'm going to bring in 1 instead of 2 this time. But we are familiar with this matchup. Mostly the same stuff going on. Okay, this hand actually has mana in it. That's lucky. I will keep. And I'm going to lead on Steel Overseer and see if they want to Force of Will that. I hope they do, because I can Soul Cauldron it. Soul Ring. Mox Pearl. And I'm going to go for a Serpent here. This has protection from Psychic Frog, which is the best card in their deck. Abrupt Decay can't kill this. C, Mox. Time Walk, sure. Brainstorm. They've got a handful of cards, but I've got a board full of cards. Let's see whose cards are better. Fatal Push my Serpent. Probably the right call. No, Fatal Push them both. That's pretty good. Now I need like any creature to move forward. Sphere. I'll play Sphere first, because I can still play spells through it. Soul Cauldron. And might as well run out the Ancient Tomb. I'm not bluffing anything, I'm freaking chops. I could try to attack their graveyard a little bit before they cast a Treasure Cruise or a Dig Through Time. But I can't take them off that anyway. Psychic Frog. I will, in the end step, eat their Time Walk. Alright, something with protection from multicolor. Shit. Alright, well, we're probably going to die to Psychic Frog pretty quickly here. But I have a bunch of things that can stabilize against it. Frog is attacking. Demonic Tutor. Okay. Is this an oof? Is this another frog? Is this Ancestral Recall? What are we doing here? Where's a Saga? That's pretty good. Exile Demonic Tutor. Alright, literally anything. We did it. Literally anything is on the stack. Count that as a win. Can't beat Psychic Frog in combat. Nobody can. It's never been done. They've got 4 cards in hand. If they come up with Collector Oof, that is actually tough here. End of turn, Soul Cauldron, Exile Overseer. They've got a lot of mana. They have to pay through Sphere and Ward, but if they just have like Fatal Push, they're good. Fatal Push. This cost them the turn of Urza Saga development, but probably worth it. Alright, come on, Stonecoil Serpent. Yeah! Alright, how big can I make this thing? What is the legal limit? I'm just going to tap all my lands, and we'll find out together. I don't have to play around Daze here, or Force, because of my spheres. And now, Psychic Frog is a wuss. They've spent 3 Fatal Pushes already. Please don't have another one. I would be surprised if they have an Aether Spellbomb or any such thing in their board, or in their options, their package. End of turn, exile. I guess it's a Brainstorm. Patches O'Houlihan. Alright, we're starting to do stuff with Soul Cauldron now. Starting to get there. Boseju's really good, but if they had Boseju, they would have done it in their main phase and just attack me with Psychic Frog. Force of Vigor. Huge blowout, as we learned. Uh-oh. It's a lot of men in the pool. Dang, bro! Alright, well, they're paying the ward. Ha! My creatures are bigger before they die. Scoreboard. Okay. Now I take some damage and hope to draw another Stonecoil Serpent. Oh, they actually had Life from the Loam. That's something I thought about briefly when, like, do I exile Brainstorm versus Urza Saga? But Loam would have got the Saga anyway. I'll take Black Lotus out of their graveyard. Luris cares about that one. Right, I am not going to play this out because the Masticore is a card in my deck that requires me to discard a card every turn to keep it alive. Force a negation to the graveyard. Yeah, I do think Bug sucks, but I think that Shops that's top decking sucks more. And they just discarded Force of Will to attack for a random extra damage. That must mean their hand is stacked and they're just not worried at all about what I can do. I'll exile Urza Saga now. I need a Stone Coil Serpent. Alright, they got me. I'm dead. Alright, yeah, I just ran out of gas. Triple Fatal Push into Force of Vigor, killing 5 of my things, and I only drew 5 things this game. That's just good interaction versus a deck like Aggro Shops. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 3. Got a pretty aggressive start here. I'm going to keep. My opponent is not a Lurrus deck. Now I have to decide if I want to Scrawly Crawl immediately, or if I want to Patches Ballista for 1 and start scrawling next turn. I think I want to Crawl. Or Scrawl, depending on who you ask. Sandbagging that Ruby to get an extra point on Patches is worth considering. But how quickly this resolved makes me think that they are Initiative or a Shops deck of their own, and those are both decks that can punish me for holding back Mox. Take 1, got him. Ancient Tomb. Grim Monolith. Alright, this looks like some Raker Shops, perhaps. Am I going to get my flesh glaringly raked? But Scrawling Crawler wins that war. The One Ring. This causes life loss, which protection doesn't help with, so they will be losing life as they go here. Mana Vault. Okay, they are a combo build of Shops, and I am a Aggression Light Prison version of Shops. Really glad I led on the Scrawling Crawler, or I might actually be dead here. Vexing Bauble, sure. Alright, we both draw cards. Steel Overseers in my hand now. Strip Mine. That's interesting. I could go for a bigger Ballista, or I could cut their Ancient Tomb out. But their Ancient Tomb hurts them, and Blitz damage is kind of what I've got going on here. I've got access to 7 mana. I could go Overseer plus Ballista. Yeah, the mana I spend on Overseer makes itself up immediately next turn. Right, and this game is not going to be about Patchwork Automaton. Pass. They take 1 from Ring, 1 from Vault, and I hope that Scrawling Crawler limits their ability to combo off. And Walking Ballista is another 2 damage, just chilling. I think they have to win this turn, or they're basically dead. I've got a lot of damage on the board. Glaring Flesh Raker, there's that one. Rishra's Workshop. I can clear the Flesh Raker at will with the Ballista. Okay, they're drawing a card with Sensei's Top, which puts them to 7. We got an messed up in the chat. I wonder what that means. Did they need to sack Vexing Bauble with different mana earlier? Not sure. Oh, your own Scrawling Crawler. Okay, now I lose life when I draw cards. That's a bigger deal for them than it is for me. I'm trying to Diamond Hands this Walking Ballista. I could just pick off their Flesh Raker. Okay, now that's probably what they messed up. They had to generate a spawn in order to sack their Bauble, which is probably going to unlock a bunch of mana from their hand. And they're dead. Okay, sweet. Turns out sometimes you just cast Scrawling Crawler and your opponent can't beat it. Alright, we are against combo Raker Shops. This is a Time Vault deck. It probably has Tezzeret Cruel Captain in it. Their sideboard is basically nothing for me. They might have some Argenta Masticores, but I don't have Null Rods, and they do. Alright, I think I just have to cut anything that's a little cute here and focus on squeezing them out or killing them outright. Like Soul Cauldron and Overseer, that's the kind of, if we're playing a long game, we accrue value kind of thing. But I need to be punching their head. Maybe actually Soul Cauldron, some number of those can give me a combo kill. Just exile Ballista from my graveyard and hit them for 10 with random creatures. is something I can do. I don't need my basic island versus them. That doesn't do anything. They don't attack my mana. Other than Null Rod. Lodestone Golem doesn't stop top from flipping, but the Fleshraker itself is pretty... that costing 4 matters. Alright, I think I am going to go down to 1 Cauldron just for the out of spiking it. And I like all my spheres making their tops cost more. I'd rather play 61 than not bring in all my pieces, but I don't want to play 61. Maybe Chalice on the draw, but Chalice on 1 is good against them even later. I know, I'm running out of time. I'm going to cut Mana Vault and hope that doesn't screw me. If they do bring in their Null Rods and try to get Control-y against me, I welcome that, because I'm trying to stop them from comboing, primarily. They're on the play. I have Chalice, which I can deploy on 1, but they get a whole turn before I can do anything. I think this hand is bad. Yeah, I will mulligan. I also have cards like Mindbreak Trap that I could spike. This is the same hand. Magic Online, what have you done? Alright, I don't really want to go to 5. I'm going to bottom a Stone Coil Serpent and hope that this Chalice on 1 is meaningful. Black Lotus. That card's good. Talon Gates. Phase out your Black Lotus. You don't get it. You don't get it. Okay. They didn't phase out Black Lotus. Not even a legal play, but I would have allowed it. I'm just generous like that. All right, am I dead on turn 1? Mox Pearl, ping me, 3 mana available. Scrawling Crawler, not ideal for me. Yeah, this is a fudge load of damage. Oh god, they're not even done yet. Sensei stop. Okay. Yeah, well, there's that. Patchwork Automaton. That's a later problem. I have to Chalice here to stop them from top spinning me, top flipping, killing me with that. And they're just going to hit me for 5 twice, and I lose that way. It's spinning the top. I think if this was Workshop, I would be okay. But losing critical chunks of life to my own mana is a tough beat. Right, they got a patches going on over there. Ancient Tomb, they're all in. Spin their top again. They've seen one of these cards before. They flip the top, which means the top flipping is over. Null Rod, yeah. This game is not winnable, sure. They showed me who the beatdown deck it was there. Right, Vexing Bubble on the play is better than Vexing Bubble on the draw. Still might not be super interested in it. Chalice, much better on the play as well. Do I need every Disruptor Flute? Would I rather have Steel Overseer in case the game gets grindy? I think I would prefer that the game does not get grindy. Okay. I'm going to try to just have a good hand. I'm on the play. Oh no. How good is this? There's actually a lot of mana here. Oh, I would have 3 mana on turn 1. That's enough to Sphere and then Chalice on 0. Alright, I'll try it. We're going for the full lockout. I have no pressure of any kind. But I can make their spells cost more and make their Moxen not work. Wasteland, Soul Ring, Mox Sapphire, Sphere of Resistance, Chalice for 0, that costs 1. Alright, go. I hope this was effective. Ancient Tomb, and pass back. Alright. If I draw mana, I can confidently play this Thorn of Amethyst. If I don't, okay, that's fine. Wasteland the Ancient Tomb, play another Wasteland, play Thorn. Most of my deck is creatures, and I can still cast this flute if I need to. Another Ancient Tomb. Scrawly Crawly. Alright, well, we know that one's good. This does take a turn off wasting, and this will feed them cards, but I hope that they can't play those cards. Urza Saga. Good job me holding back this Wasteland on purpose. Patches. Right, extra cards drawn this turn. We love cards. Mana Crypt. Doesn't work. Zabaz I can play. Right, Zabaz is in play. Wasteland the Urza Saga. That's the one I'm more worried about. Attack for 3. Opponent's down to 12 on this draw. And they don't want to play anymore. Okay, just a classic Shop's Mirror where the person on the play won all 3 games. Good stuff. And Scrawling Crawler, MVP. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables. On the play in round 4, paired again into the same person. Welcome to the Vintage Queues. This can happen. A little awkward because this hand is okay, but suspecting what my opponent might be on, I'm going to mulligan. Come on, deck. All right, we're going to 5. Okay, this one is better. I have to put 2 of these cards away. I think I want to keep... I would be so fine with this hand on 6. You douchebag. All right, I'm going to put away Zabaz, and I guess it's Soul Cauldron. Okay, turn 1 sphere, hope it's good. I've at least won the die roll. I could take my chances not spearing them on turn 1 and try to go like Steel Overseer and then double spell next turn, but that seems like such a mistake. Mox. Okay, drawing the Ancient Tomb is nice. I'm going to play Steel Overseer and then strip mine them. We're on the mana denial all day, every day. Hope they run out of stuff to do plan. Batches, O'Houlihan. Okay, this... I've got 5 mana. The Emerald pays for itself. Or does it? No, because I have to cast 2 spells this turn. 5 mana. Go down to 4 for Emerald. And then I can... Alright, so it does pay for itself. Yes, this is what I wanted to do. Okay. Ballista for 2, spending 5 mana on it. And I'm going to activate Steel Overseer now. I can't ping this thing off because of Ward. I can kill it next turn. But hopefully I'll just have bigger creatures than them. And if they play Scrawling Crawler or Fleshraker, those are things I can delete with the Ballista. I'm out of cards, but I have an onboard engine going. Big Tez. If they minus Tez, I can kill it with Ballista. Alright, they zeroed the Tez. Mystic Forge. We're jamming. Alright, jam successful. It would be hard to go any deeper this turn through the sphere. Opponent's at 14. Tez goes to 5. No way they attack here. They're on defense, trying to get their combo together. I mean, they could attack if they want. I just think it's not great. Though, if they read that if I attack with Ballista, leaving back Steel Overseer, and they're not going to block anyway, then maybe attacking is smart. But if they do attack, then I don't have to tap Ballista, or tap Overseer. I can just attack. Okay, go face or fight Tez. I think I'm going to go face. They didn't block. I'll juice. I can put them to 10. They're functionally at 6. And, alright, Ancient Tomb, it's in play. If they just play Time Vault from hand, I lose. Sensei's Divining Top. That gets Tez up to 6. Tez can tutor another top, but I can kill a Fleshraker if I need to. Tez untapped Grim Monolith. They have a Mystic Forge in play, so anything could happen here. There's a Raker. And Mystic Forge plus top is the same as having 2 tops, so I do have to kill this Fleshraker. Or no, I have Sphere, which buys me a little bit of action, but I mostly do have to kill this Fleshraker anyway. Tez was used already this turn. I don't need to worry about its overall loyalty. Okay, flipping the top. I could kill Fleshraker right now if I'm going to do that anyway. I think I am going to do that anyway. I don't want them getting any spawns and starting to dig out of the sphere. That's really the only thing I have going on. Top's on top of the deck, which they can cast for 2 mana from Mystic Forge. There it is. Patch is growing along the way. Tezzeret goes up to 7, which is the ultimate, but not until next turn. Clearing the top card. Mishra's Workshop deleted from the top of the deck. Puts them to 7. Grim Monolith. Tez goes to 8. Fleshraker, another one. That's in there. They have no floating mana. I can kill this one too. I can pay 4 life from Ancient Tombs to put a counter on Ballista. End step, put a counter on Ballista. And then I'll go to my turn and hope I draw a good card. Agatha's Soul Cauldron is lethal here. Ah, damn it. All right, fine. I'll just draw a Wasteland instead. Do I think I can control this game? Is that even a thing? It might have to be. What else am I doing? They have a 6/6 now. I'm going to waste a Workshop and make their mana worse, or at least more painful. I currently can deal 5 to my opponent. I guess I'm just going to pass. If they minus Tez, I'll just kill Fleshraker in response. If they minus Tez, I can also kill Tez if they just come up with Time Vault somehow. But if they play an artifact, that's not true anymore. Soul Ring. How and when I kill this Fleshraker is such beating. All right. I guess I will just kill the Fleshraker. This is half of what they're doing right now, and it's their primary win con. I kill it before I take 1, but they do get the mana spotted. Key. Luckily, it's not the unblockable key. That one's a lot scarier. This key is worth mana to them here, or a clear with Mystic Forge. Time Vault kills me no matter what if they find it. Monolith untapped. Tez untapping Monolith again. It's a lot of mana. The One Ring. Yeah, that one's pretty good. I cannot interact significantly here, so that resolves. I guess I'm on the kill any Fleshrakers that show up plan. This gives them a full turn of tapping their Ancient Tomb and living fearlessly. They can attack with patches now. Sensei's Top is in. The Sensei's Tops plus Tez and make patches bigger every time they do one of those. Talon Gates. Yeah, that sucks. I will respond by juicing this up. If they play 4 more artifacts this turn, I just lose. But I think I have to be okay with that. All right, fine. It happens. And I can't put a counter on it before it's gone because I do just die to that combat damage. I guess I need to draw Agatha's Soul Cauldron. The name of the game here. Okay, so they flipped their top, replayed it. This makes Tez bigger and patches bigger. Oh, I'm just dead. This Tez can activate to animate an artifact and then they attack me with it. Okay. I guess we make them do it. And if they win this game on the play, that's bad for my chances of the match. Or with me on the play. They win this game with me on the play. Wait, did Tez untap Grim Monolith this turn? That may have happened. I've honestly lost track. Okay. Tez did untap Grim Monolith. Agatha Soul Cauldron off the top for the win. The Logi. That guy doesn't help. I guess I just passed the turn. They take 1 from their ring in the upkeep, down to 6. And burning them out is the entire plan. There's nothing else going on here. I have blockers to survive a 3/3. If Tez just tutors Manifold and makes patches unblockable, that's a line they have. Mana Vault going down to 6. Or they were at 6 already. Never mind. That was the shop, not the tomb. Come on. All right. We've got 3 of these in the top 25 cards. All right. Well, I'm dead no matter what here. I guess. Nope. Dead no matter what. Yeah. Because if I tap Steel Overseer, then I don't have a blocker. If I kill Fleshraker without doing that, then I chump, and then Soul Cauldron's not a live draw. Yep. They got me. It sucks when your opponent has all the same mana and infrastructure as you, but also a combo kill. At this time, I'm thinking about shaving some Stone Coil Serpents. Maybe I should max out on ways to burn them out with Soul Cauldron, but drawing 2 of these in a game is horrendous. Maybe Zabaz should be Stone Coils and just give myself more hits for that. Yeah, flying's not really where this game is determined. It's burning them out or not. Okay. Maximum Soul Cauldron, Walking Ballista, Synergy in the deck. A hand without enough mana to play, mulligan. Deck, please. This deck's like 50% mana. Let's go. Down to 5. Okay, we have a keep. And what a keep it is. I'm going to bottom City of Traders and Mock Sapphire. And I'm going to ram Scrawling Crawler. The Sphere feels important, but also when am I casting it? Alright, maybe next turn. I'm going to lead on Scrawling Crawler. We've seen this card solo the matchup before. And I got 2 of them. Fingers crossed. Oh wait, I have 2 shops. I can just cast Sphere next turn. Right, that's how having 2 shops works. I do not care about Null Rod. At least my hand does not care about Null Rod. All right, sweet. Crawler, Sphere, and I'm gonna hold back the Pearl. There's not really a reason for it to be in play, and it could buff up patches in the future. Yeah, they've got 4 mana. Their own 1-rings don't work here. Their own tops don't work here. Yeah, they're just getting burned out. Wow, triple Scrawly Crawly. All right, sweet. Now we got to get one on the draw. Mindbreak Trap becomes important. Do I want to favor aggression or removal on the draw over things like Trinisphere? The problem is that with the combos that their deck plays, you just always care about these, even though they're not very good in traditional shops mirrors. I think I'm just going the same deck. Yeah, even Chalice, like all these things that I would normally determine via play or draw, just those rules don't apply here. Or at least they don't apply the same. Knowing that they're trying to Null Rod me is interesting. Do I want like Island back in over Mana Vault if that's how we're doing this? I'll try that little minor 60th card level system. It's interesting they would go for Null Rodding me because the thing I don't want to happen in this match is them going nuts with their top combo or bearing me with the ring. 1 spell. Please play a Mox. Yeah. All right. This Trinisphere looks like shit already. Mindbreak Trap this jerk. Just don't want that anything happening. Okay. Now I must decide how I'm going to play this game. I could Stone Coil for 3. I could Patches and pass. I could Patches Ballista for 0. I think I want to Stone Coil for 3. Though, like, Trinisphere does slow down their nuttiest nuts. Alright, this feels weird and not entirely correct, but knowing that their deck does contain cards that care about this, I'm going to try it. Like, they might just never pay less than 3. Alright, that cost them a mana. The double shop draw. Not great. Oof. Well, stuck under my own sphere. I'll play Stone Coil. X equals 3. Yeah, Mox was basically my worst draw after committing to the Trinisphere, and would have been my best draw if I didn't play it. Null Rod, that's okay, I can't play my Mox in anyway, but now Walking Ballista doesn't work, and Soul Cauldron doesn't work. Alright, I actually care a lot about Null Rod with this particular configuration. Okay, they've got 1 card left. Can I draw a land? Another Stone Coil's not the worst. Is my Patchwork going to catch up to theirs? That's another part of this. Like, their patches grows even through Null Rod, where my cards don't do that. I think I actually do want to invest in patches for a turn and try to keep up with them, because I have a handful of cards I get to play, and they're down to 2. Manifold Key. Yeah, that's just growing the Automaton. And now they're pumping the brakes. That's exciting. All right, another Stone Coil. I don't think they have any artifacts with Flash. There are artifacts with Flash that have been played in Chops decks in the past, but I am going to attack with my 3/3 Stone Coil. This might be the last chance it can trade off with patches, and I think I'm way ahead if they don't have this creature in play. Bash. Okay, they didn't block, as expected. And now it's a who can cast more artifacts contest. Oh, that one's pretty good. That is an artifact. I mean, I'm not shredding through my deck, and I don't mind the extra cards this gives me. I'm still at 18. They still don't have an attack. I'll just double block. If I find a land, this game gets pretty good. I even boarded one in. All right, deck, how about a workshop? City of Traders. A basic island. I'll take them all. Soul Ring. Not that one. Yeah, I can Ballista for 1. I could just play out Soul Ring, that doesn't matter. I could play out Soul Cauldron, that doesn't matter. Sphere. I actively don't want Sphere in play because that would affect my Lodestone Golem, while not really affecting much of what they're doing. Yeah, I think I'm going to play out Soul Cauldron. Not because it's any good, but because it's an artifact. All right, we both draw an extra card here. I hope to see a land. All right, I drew a City of Traders. We're starting to make forward progress. The 1 ring, this gets them protection for a turn, but mostly doesn't matter. Ruby. That does matter a little bit, just even existing. Okay, I can play Lodestone Golem here. I could play Ballista for 2. Lodestone Golem's big enough to brawl. And brawling is what I'm trying to do right now. They currently have ring protection. My creatures are bigger and badder. They are ahead otherwise, though. Mindbreak Trap. Sucks to suck. Tolarian Academy. Wow, that would be a good draw. Good job, opponent, for having that card while I don't. Fleshraker. This can swing the damage race just by having random dinguses in play. They're still not confident in attacking. My own Scrawling Crawler would be great. Another Soul Cauldron. Not what I wanted. And I guess I just play some random thing here. Disruptor Flute is the thing with text on it. But what text even matters here? I can Disruptor Flute anytime. I guess I'm just going to pass. Yeah, I think I lost to myself with this Trinisphere. Once they have Null Rod in play, or did they Null Rod after I Trinisphered? I think they did. So I didn't actually have the information to make that decision. Okay, they are tapping mana. They have a spell. Another One Ring. They're just chipping through that. It's probably good enough to attack with Patchwork Automaton by now. Okay. They're playing scared. I like it. I need it. Just going to play this in the end step because I need something to be somewhere. I'll name Sensei's top. It mostly doesn't matter. They have so much mana and so much everything. I have not come up with a Scrawling Crawler yet. In other patches, Stone Coil, this one for 5. Another Ballista. Lands. What are they? Nobody knows. Argenta Masticore. Yeah, that one's pretty good. That kills my Stone Coils moving forward. I need to draw Tolarian Academy right now, or this game is extremely over. Scrawling Crawler. Is it better late than never? Or is it too late? I think it's too late, but I will still put it into play. First strike, huh? Yeah, I'm mostly just dead here. Them having 2 workshops to my 1 as this game dragged into the dregs is what really got me. Like this Urza Saga 4 turns ago, I think turns the game around, but now they're going to start picking off my Stone Coil Serpents. I'm at 4. Yeah, I'm behind on picking damage from their Crawler that's been in play for a million turns and their Fleshraker, Karn the Great Creator. All right. Okay, yeah, just got locked out. My own Trinisphere might have been part of that, but them having 2 workshops to my 0, or to my 1, and Tolarian Academy breaking it open. Turns out Null Rod is pretty good when I have the Soul Cauldron draw, and it's pretty bad when I don't. All right, we've evened up the score, opponent. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in the final round, positive record on the line, versus someone without a Lurrus. I am going to keep my hand. This is turn 1 Lodestone plus Chalice on 0. What year is it? This feels like a different generation of Vintage. You know, there was a time you could play 4 of both of these cards. How about that? What do you think? Does that sound like fun to do? All right, pass the turn. Misty Rainforest out of a deck without Lurrus. Is it Bug for the 3rd time? Is it Doomsday? A Soul Ring. That's one of the cards they're allowed to play under these situations. The Vexing Boblerino. And I might as well put it into play, but it doesn't help with Lodestone Golem in play. Yeah, non-artifact spells. I just want to make sure that I don't accidentally turn on their Moxen, and Moxen still costs 0, so we're good. Vexing Bauble, Scrawly Crawly, and they're basically just dead already. All right, ship it. End of turn, something's happening. Cycling Lorien revealed. For Underground Sea, they go to 13. The odd numbers of life are actually important because if they Doomsday, they lose half their life rounded up. That was kind of lose 2 life in a perverse way. Okay, so Vexing Bauble doesn't matter. I'm going to just cash it in for a card. If they like Orcish Bowmaster me and they're on some brew, good job, I guess. But I don't think that's something I have to play around. All right, the Recrawling and Zabaz. All right, I'll attack with the things I have first. They're at 4. Zabaz. Scrawly Crawly. Something's happening. Ancestral Recall in response. Yeah, you better. All right, they're still going to die in their upkeep. And they can't Force of Will me now. Okay, pass. I'm going to hold back the City of Traders. The game is over one way or another. I don't think having that's going to matter. Okay, cool. Scrawling Crawler, once again, demonstrating its insanity. We are almost certainly playing against Doomsday. Disruptor Flute naming Doomsday is pretty good. Before it comes down, just make it cost 6 is a pretty big deal. Yeah, unfortunately, I think this league is going to conclude without doing anything super cool with Soul Cauldron. It's just not for this matchup. I don't need passive graveyard hate against them. It's not about burning them out. It's about getting them under control and just applying steady pressure. Vexing Bauble still gets Force of Will. Chalice of the Void can mess up a Doomsday pile. Like, I'm thinking on the draw, the utility of these cards. Vexing Bauble, turning off Force of Will even on the draw is nice. I think Zabaz is just kind of clunky, though. I could bring in my Mindbreak traps if I want to cover every possible nut draw situation. I guess on the draw I like trap, and on the play I don't. That means Chalice and Bauble can chill. Yeah, and if I'm not Cauldroning, then I'm not Zabazing. Okay. This is my anti-combo package. It's in. Yuck. I don't like this City of Traders. I do kind of like this Disruptor Flute. I don't like what else is going on. I'm going to mulligan. If that was Ancient Tomb, I would have kept. This is the same hand deck. Do you even like me? All right. This time I will keep it, though. Double Flute gives me 2 shots to mess them up. Scrawling Crawler is a better follow-up than what I was seeing last time. All right, Wasteland. I could lead on Wasteland and try to keep this City of Traders around longer. Or I could just disrupt Doomsday. All right. I'm going to play the city. When they fetch, I'm going to Disruptor Flute. This plays around Daze. They had Force of Will anyway. Pitching Suspend. Nice. All right. One of the weirdest removal spells there is, but it counts. It is a removal spell. Undercity Sewer. Dumping Tolarian Academy. They're not worried about mana, or they don't have artifacts. Am I dead? Demonic Tutor. I'm getting close to dead. All right. Float mana. Play Wasteland to respect Daze. Disruptor Flute. Name Doomsday. And I guess I just Wasteland. This puts me to 0, but my deck is full of workshops. And I'm against a combo deck that just Demonic Tutored. Ancestral Recall for the reload. Sphere. All right, we're in kind of garbage mode. The City of Traders, if it was Ancient Tomb, the game is completely different. Oh god. Well, we're going to die to that if I don't top deck another Wasteland immediately. Mox does play slowly, but we're getting there. I'm going to hide that I have access to that. Look at all these lands they're hitting. Oh no. All right, well, very likely dead. Here come the constructs. A pair of 3/3s I can catch up to if I rip an academy or a workshop. Maybe I'm supposed to play out Mox Sapphire in case they get Vexing Bauble here, but I don't think that's what's happening. It is not what happened. Time Walk. This is 9 damage. Time Vault. All right, we might learn more about their deck. I don't think they are Doomsday. This might be Tez P.O. Yeah, playing this out long enough, Doomsday doesn't have Time Vault in it. Mindbreak Trap. Awesome. I'll play out the Mox. Hell yeah, look at this. Look what I got. Are you worried? Vamp Tutor. If they vamp for any artifact, I lose. And especially if that artifact is Manifold Key. Let's see if they just cast a Tezzeret here. All right, Manifold Key is lethal for a variety of reasons. Okay, they are not Doomsday. They are Tez P.O. or Tez not P.O. Tez Turbo Vault. Bauble and Chalice come in on the play over a couple of these Mindbreak traps. I like the Spheres even more now that I have more information. Do I want any Mindbreak traps in? If my Spheres are in place, then this card barely functions. And I could get Soul Cauldrons in. Alright, I'm going to do some of those. Maybe we will get a Walking Ballista burnout after all before this league is over. Academy is pretty good, but not imminently. I think I have to mulligan this. I like this hand a lot more. I'm going to keep and bottom up Patches. Saga, Ruby, Pearl, Sphere. They have a force, pitching Merchant Scroll, 2 mana, Ancestral, yep. That's a vintage hand. Strip Mine, okay, that's a vintage card. I like vintaging. Strip your Academy, and then play Scrawling Crawler. Crawler, I think, will do more damage than this construct, while keeping my hand full. Saga, alright, they're Saga gaming as well. And Tezzeret confirmed. Not that I had any doubt, but confirmed. Getting Sapphire. That puts Tez back up to 2 loyalty. Upkeep trigger. We get some extra cards. Vexing Bauble. All right, I'm going to make a construct. Tutor, probably Soul Ring. Yeah, I'm holding the other card that I might conceivably get here. Automaton. Ancient Tomb. Bauble. Trigger Automaton. Move to combat. Attack Tezzeret. Some blue card. This is Chain of Vapor. Steel Sabotage. Alright, that bounces that guy. So Tezzeret is allowed to exist, which is not great. That means a Time Vault from anywhere. Any Tutor, any Tinker. Just ramming it into play. These matchups are bad for Sphere Shops, by the way. Just putting that out there. The vintage decks that get to play Force of Will and have a powerful combo of their own. It's really tough if they have all those things. Like, I love being PO into traditional shops. The one thing that shops can really do to mess you up is Null Rod, which is not something my deck gets to play. Hitting Needle. This gets Tezzeret up to 3. Naming Wasteland. Alright. Time Walk. Untap Mox with Tez. Repealing my Bauble. Alright. That is a redraw on an important turn. A second swing when there is a card in their deck that just kills me. And now I have no protection. They're not taking damage when they draw. They can play their zeros. Tez is tutoring. That means this Tez can't untap Time Vault this turn, but if they've just worked the game into a spot where now they PO picking up all this stuff, I'm so dead. Oh, Yogwill? Yeah, that doesn't quite kill me. It is very good. I can repeal more of my stuff. Ancestral, Steel Sabotage, Time Walk again. Man, vintage decks are so cool. I guess I have to make them do this, even though there's no way I'm winning. Alright, there is a Time Walk in the bubble here. I just cast a Lorien Revealed. Went straight to exile. Alright, you've seen about half your deck. Where's the Time Vault? They discarded Misty Rainforest to hand size and ended up in the graveyard, not in exile. Does Yogwill wear off before discard? I guess maybe. That's interesting. That could actually matter in a game. It's just good to know. Well, I'm dead. I was dead anyway, but now I'm very dead. My chance to get back in. All right, I don't care anymore. You did it. You got me. Okay, this was a fun exploration of trying to do something different with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. We are unfortunately trying to build this deck into a metagame that's extremely hostile towards it. In our 5 matches today, we played against 2 Collector Roof decks, 2 Null Rod decks, and a Karn the Great Creator deck. It's very good in the vintage metagame in general, and especially right now, to be turning off artifacts because Time Vault is so popular because of Tezzeret. Random artifacts are so popular because of PO. And generally, Sphere Shops is a deck that can not only function through Null Rod, but play their own. But instead, I'm a deck that's terrified of Null Rod. That's kind of a tough sell. We saw little glimpses of doing the thing. Like, I had Steel Overseer plus Walking Ballista holding the fort for a while in one game. I had Agatha's Soul Cauldron in play for a long time versus Bug that might have slowed down a Treasure Cruise or made a Deathrich even worse. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. It did force them to use a removal spell at one point. I did tuck Steel Overseer under it, but then opponent killed my creature at the time, and we didn't get to do that. I did tap a Stonecoil Serpent for Steel Overseer's ability once this league. It was currently being targeted by Force of Vigor, so it died immediately, but that did happen. I think the lessons from this are Scrawling Crawler is very good. Sphere of Resistance is very good. Mishra's Workshop is very good. And then after that, it's tough to choose a package that it loses to Null Rod rather than is Null Rod. Maybe this deck has to main deck some Argentum Masticores, or maybe we actually dip into green like the original concept, play actual Hardened Scales, and then we get access to some Boseijus that can unlock us from a Null Rod kind of thing. But Boseiju doesn't unlock us from Karn or from Collector Oof, so it only gets some of the Null Rods that are being played. There's like 4 different ones. 5 if you count Clarion Conqueror. There's like 5 different Null Rods in the format, and Boseiju answers 2 of them. That might not even be what we want. And then if we start doing that, we're using space in the deck to both build out this package that is soft to null rod and using spaces to answer theoretical null rods. And once we use all those spaces, what do we start cutting next? Are we losing Trinisphere? Are we losing Vexing Bauble? I don't think the deck has room to both respect null rod and do the thing it needs to do. I think if you want to be doing this, maybe the shell, maybe you just start from scratch, take modern hardened scales and build it out rather than taking vintage sphere shops and building this package into it. What if we don't have spheres? What if we don't have thorns or trinispheres or even Mishra's Workshop and we're just doing a bunch of Moxen, normal fetch land, dual land mana base? Then you get access, you might even get Time Walk and Ancestral Recall. Maybe we could fit Force of Will in that deck. That's obviously something completely different that I'm not going to work through right now. But having Agatha's Soul Cauldron be the thing you're trying to do in the format where Null Rod is king and in a deck that generally would like to play Null Rod, not lose to it, it's a tough squeeze. But Alexander, congrats on your trophy with this deck. Hopefully these thoughts fuel the next iteration of the deck. This is never meant to, poo-poo the idea. I think the idea is sweet. We just got to be realistic about what's going on in the format. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon to support the channel. I'll see you next time.